So this session is only on anatomy for liposuction. And we're going to start with anatomy of the truncal area. It's very important to understand this anatomy, and this will make sure that you do liposuction very well, safely. Now the subcutaneous layer of body is same all over the body. Once you understand the basic, you will be able to apply it to different part of the body and even different surgeries. So it's very important to understand the anatomy of fat, particularly when you are doing liposuction, because it's not just removal of fat, it's sculpting of fat. So subcutaneous tissue is divided into 3 layers, and these are apical layer, areolar layer and lamellar layer. Now let's look at the apical layer. Apical layer of the fat is the fat that protects the hypodermis, which has very important vascular plexus and also superficial lymphatics. Now, if you damage this layer, you can result into complications like hyperpigmentation, excessive bruising that leads to hyperpigmentation, more pain, puree orange, which is scarring of the dermis because of damage in that subdermal layer, burns, and even necrosis, particularly if you use high energy devices. So this layer needs to be protected, and this layer needs to be understood everywhere in the body. The areolar layer is the next layer, which is between the superficial fascia and the intermediate fascia. Now this is the layer where you do liposuction in most part of the body. But the important about this layer is it is a very compact layer, and this layer anatomy is different in different part of the body, not just body, but even in trunk, in different region, it is different. Then the lamellar layer. Lamellar layer is below the intermediate fascia. Intermediate fascia is like Scarpa's fascia, although it is not defined or given a name in different part of the body, but it is the same fascia as the Scarpa's fascia. So it's a very well defined fascia. And in some part of the body, fat deposits underneath this fascia. Now, what is the purpose of lamellar fat? Lamellar fat allows the superficial layer to glide on it. So when you pinch your skin, what you're essentially pinching is apical layer and areolar layer, whereas the lamellar layer stays back. If you pinch deep, then you can grab the lamellar layer. Lamellar layer liposuction is done in only certain part of the body, particularly like lower abdomen, flanks, where there is a lot of fat deposit below the Scarpa's fascia. The important thing to know about lamellar fat is it does have very less fibroseptal network, but big perforators. And you do not want bleeding in this layer, because this layer bleeding can cause big hematomas and blood loss. Same thing, it does also protect deep lymphatics. So if you damage the deep lymphatics, you have higher risks of seromas or lymphedemas. So understand these 3 layers very, very carefully, the facial layers. The superficial fascia, which is basically just protecting the apical layer. All right, it's not a very well defined fascia, but if you're doing anatomical dissection, you will be able to identify that. Intermediate fascia is between the areolar layer of the fat and the lamellar layer of fat. Now this intermediate fascia in certain part of the body, particularly in the lower abdomen, in the flanks, in the posterior flanks, is very well defined, whereas in the upper abdomen it is more adhered and not so well defined. Now the vessels are lying horizontally underneath the deep fascia, which is very close to the perimysium or over the tendon or over the bone. And these lymphatics are big and important for the drainage of the tissues. This layer also has vessels, big vessels and big veins. So you do not want to do very aggressive liposuction in very deep plane that can cause hematoma, bleeding and seromas. Now this slide is important to understand. On one side, you will see the fibroseptal network that is like a tree, which has big trunk in the lamellar fat, like big perforators, but they are rare. So the lamellar fat is not very vascular fat. It does not bleed a lot, all right? It does not need a lot of infiltration, but it still needs some infiltration to make sure that the perforators are constricted. Then the areolar layer is very densely populated with fibroseptal network. And again, in some part of the body like upper abdomen, it's more dense. In the lower abdomen, it's less dense. In the back, it's even more denser. And this layer can bleed a lot. And that's why a thorough infiltration in this layer is mandatory to prevent this bleeding. Then, of course, it branches out to the subdermal layer, where it then forms a vascular plexus underneath the skin, which provides sensation, blood circulation, and lymphatic drainage to the skin. Now, the lymphatics are similarly placed like the vessels. There are superficial lymphatics, which is very close to the subdermal layer. If you aggressively damage that, you get pury orange or indurated skin. In the areolar layer, there are lymphatics which is very difficult to preserve when you're doing aggressive liposuction, and that's why you get a lot of edemas. But the deep lymphatics are very, very important. Now, this is an image of a cadaveric dissection that shows the difference in these three layers in abdomen and in extremities. So you can see the apical layer, how it is just underneath the dermis. You can see a thick areolar layer which varies in different part of the body. You can see the lamellar layer of the fat. And now you have to see how these vessels are oriented. In the limbs, they are longitudinally oriented with some connection between the deep and the superficial venous and arterial system. Whereas in trunk, they are more perpendicularly oriented, where the perforators are big, connecting the deep vessel to the superficial vessels. Now, when you're focusing on the trunk, it is always good to divide the trunk into aesthetic units, which has not only aesthetic importance to give definition, but also the architecture of the fat differs in these regions, and also the quality of skin. So let's look at these 10 aesthetic units which are very, very important. It is one upper abdominal unit, which is the linea alba. Then you have two upper rectus units. The third one is the lower rectus unit. Fourth is the pararectus unit, which is lateral to the rectus muscle, overlying the oblique muscles. 5 is the mons pubis. 6 is the posterior lateral units, are also called as posterior flanks. 7 is the posterior midline over the spinous process. 8 is the upper back. 9 is the triangle of Venus, which is in the sacral area. 10 is the gluteal transition. Now let's see how the anatomy varies and how you will have to modify your liposuction to get the results. So again, now look at the anterior abdominal wall. Again, you start examining and assessing from skin to deep. So looking at the skin, you have all of these aesthetic appearances, like the linea alba, which is the midline raphe, the linea semilunaris, which can be more well defined in people who have less fat, whereas less defined in people who have more fat. Then you have sometimes creases and lines in the abdomen that you need to understand why they are forming. And then always look at asymmetry. Asymmetry not just necessarily at the profile or the angle or the flanks, but also the left and the right part of the abdomen. Then you look at the fat pockets. The fat pockets are different in the different region. In the supra-umbilical region or upper abdomen, the fat is more compact. There is no scarpus fascia. There is no deep lamellar fat. Whereas in the lower abdomen, there is deep fat as well. So these differences you need to understand to get a good contouring. Now what lies underneath the fat are your rectus muscles. So understand the rectus muscle, the anatomy, supraumbilical region, infraumbilical region. Look at the divarifications. Divarifications are normal. Obviously they get exaggerated if there is a lot of visceral volume, either because of obesity or because of pregnancy. Then also understand the aponeurosis, the anterior and the posterior rectus aponeurosis. The upper abdomen has both anterior and posterior, whereas lower abdomen is a weak area because it does not have posterior aponeurosis. So that's where there is a risk of perforation in these regions. Then you look at the musculoskeletal structure. The skeletal structure particularly, look at the xiphoid, the costal margin, the pubic bone and the iliac crest. And you may find abnormalities like pectus excavatum, pectus carinatum,